Imagine a prison so remote, so unforgiving, it was considered escape-proof. A place where the Pacific Ocean itself was the ultimate warden. Yet, in the dead of night, a band of desperate men dared to challenge the impossible. This is the story of the Great Escape, a tale not of walls scaled or tunnels dug, but of a ship built in secret under the very noses of their captors. Sound of crashing waves and ship creaking. Our story unfolds in the brutal confines of a 19th century penal colony. Here, on this isolated outpost, convicts toiled under the scorching sun, their spirits crushed, their hopes seemingly extinguished. But beneath the surface of despair, a spark of defiance flickered. Driven by an insatiable yearning for freedom, a handful of these men conceived a plan so audacious, so improbable, it bordered on madness. Sound of hammering and hushed voices. Against insurmountable odds, with limited resources and constant threat of discovery, they embarked on a perilous endeavor to construct a vessel, navigate treacherous waters, and sail thousands of miles to freedom. This documentary unveils the intricate details of their daring plot, the ingenious engineering, the clandestine operations, and the unwavering determination that fueled their audacious voyage. We will delve into the lives of these men, explore the harsh realities of their imprisonment, and uncover the extraordinary resilience that enabled them to defy fate. Get ready for a thrilling journey back in time as we piece together the puzzle of the Great Escape, a testament to the indomitable human spirit. Over the next 15 sections, we will show you how they did it and what became of the escapees. 1822. Imagine a place so brutal, so desolate, that even the hardened criminals of Britain recoiled in terror. Welcome to Sarah Island, Van Diemen's Land, a penal colony carved from the unforgiving Tasmanian wilderness. Here, the wind howls a constant lament, and the rain lashes against the backs of men condemned to a living death. The island, a mere 3 miles long, held within its grasp the shattered remnants of humanity. Assigned to felling timber, these men endured back-breaking labor from dawn till dusk, often with meager rations and under the watchful eye of merciless guards. Floggings were commonplace, discipline was savage, and hope was a forgotten luxury. The salt air carried not the scent of freedom, but the stench of despair. This was a place where men were broken, spirits crushed, and the will to survive tested beyond all conceivable limits. This was hell on earth, and from this hell, an impossible dream would be born. Days bled into weeks, weeks into months, and months into years. The unrelenting brutality of Sarah Island chipped away at the convict's sanity. But even in the depths of despair, the flame of hope flickered. Whispers began to circulate, hushed conversations in the shadows, furtive glances exchanged during laborious tasks. Escape was no longer just a fantasy. It became a shared obsession, a desperate gamble against impossible odds. The psychological toll was immense. Many succumbed to madness or simply gave up. But for a select few, the yearning for freedom burned brighter than ever. Every beating, every starvation ration, every moment of humiliation only fueled their resolve. They knew that any attempt would be met with swift and brutal retribution, but the alternative, a slow, agonizing death on Sarah Island, was unthinkable. They were desperate men, and desperate men take desperate measures. Amidst the despair, a leader emerged, George Greenhill, a man whose past held secrets and whose mind harbored an audacious plan. He wasn't a brute, nor a seasoned sailor, but he possessed a sharp intellect and a burning desire for freedom. Transported to Van Diemen's Land for forgery, Greenhill's keen eye saw not just a prison, but an opportunity. While others dreamed of escape, he meticulously planned it. He observed the routines of the guards, the tides, the available resources. He began to formulate an elaborate scheme, to build a ship right under the noses of their captors. It seemed impossible, bordering on insane. Yet, Greenhill possessed a quiet charisma, a way of instilling confidence in others. He began to gather a small group of trusted men, each with unique skills, and laid out his vision. The seed of rebellion had been planted, and it would soon take root. The linchpin of Greenhill's plan was the acquisition of Huon pine, a timber prized for its durability and resistance to rot, ideal for shipbuilding. But obtaining this precious resource was fraught with peril. The convicts were assigned to timber felling, but every log was meticulously accounted for. The answer lay in deception and daring. Under the cover of darkness, small groups of convicts would secretly divert choice pieces of Huon pine, hiding them in the dense undergrowth. They exploited the chaos of the workday, using misdirection and carefully timed distractions. One wrong move, one slip-up, and the entire conspiracy would be exposed. Each day, they risked discovery, knowing that failure meant certain death. But with each hidden log, hope grew stronger, and the dream of freedom drew closer. A ship requires tools, and, on Sarah Island, tools were strictly controlled. Greenhill's plan hinged on the skills of a convict blacksmith, a man known only as Smithy, a man forced into silence by his circumstances. Under the pretense of repairing existing equipment, Smithy secretly forged the necessary axes, saws, and hammers for shipbuilding. He worked in the dead of night, the glow of his forge carefully shielded from prying eyes. Using scraps of metal and cunning ingenuity, he crafted tools that were both functional and undetectable. His workshop, a dimly lit corner of the penal colony, became a clandestine center of activity. Each hammer blow was a defiant act, each spark a symbol of resistance. Smithy understood the stakes. Failure meant not just his own death, but the end of the entire escape plan. Deep within a hidden cove, shielded from view by towering cliffs and dense foliage, the convicts began the impossible task of building their ship. Under the watchful eyes of Greenhill and his lieutenants, they painstakingly shaped the Huon pine into planks and beams. Every swing of the axe, every nail hammered, was a testament to their unwavering resolve. The work was slow, arduous, and fraught with danger. They toiled in secrecy, fearing discovery by the guards or betrayal by fellow convicts. As the ship took shape, so did their hopes. With limited resources and crude tools, they built a vessel that would carry them to freedom, a symbol of their defiance against oppression. But with each passing day, the risk of exposure increased and the pressure mounted. As the ship neared completion, paranoia gripped the convicts. Whispers of betrayal circulated, fueled by fear and suspicion. The guards, sensing something amiss, intensified their patrols, their eyes scanning the landscape with newfound vigilance. A disgruntled convict, envious of his exclusion from the plan, threatened to expose the entire operation. Greenhill faced a crisis. He had to maintain control, quell the rising panic, and silence the potential informant, all while keeping the ship a secret. The escape plan, so meticulously crafted, teetered on the brink of collapse. One wrong decision, one moment of weakness, and everything would be lost. The dream of freedom was fading, replaced by the grim reality of their impending doom. Despite the near collapse, the convicts persevered. Driven by a desperate need for freedom, Greenhill managed to keep the plan alive. And then it was finished. From the depths of their despair, they birthed a vessel of hope. The Walrus, as they christened her, stood a testament to their ingenuity and unwavering will. A small brigantine, roughly 30 feet long, crafted from stolen Huon pine and held together with makeshift tools, the Walrus was an improbable sight. Yet to the convicts, she was a symbol of liberation, a gateway to a new life. She may not have been perfect, but seaworthy she had to be. She was everything they had left. Now, with the Walrus complete, the stage was set for the ultimate gamble, a daring voyage across the vast and unforgiving Pacific Ocean. January 1844. The Venus, a crudely constructed brig, slipped from the shores of Sarah Island, Tasmania, under the cloak of darkness. It was a moment of heart-stopping audacity. The air hung thick with anticipation and fear as the convicts, led by mastermind James Lester, pushed their vessel into the turbulent waters of the Pacific. This was no mere escape. It was a desperate gamble against unimaginable odds. Each timber groaned under the strain, a constant reminder of their fragile existence. Every ripple in the water, every gust of wind, carried the potential of discovery or disaster. Their makeshift sails, patched together from stolen canvas, strained against the mast, pulling them further and further into the vast, unforgiving expanse of the ocean. They sailed east toward a horizon that promised freedom, but delivered only uncertainty. For these men, every moment was a step further into the unknown. The vast Pacific quickly revealed its brutal indifference. Weeks blurred into a relentless cycle of storms and scorching sun. Waves, towering monsters, crashed over the Venus, threatening to swallow it whole. Food and water, meager rations to begin with, dwindled rapidly. Hunger gnawed at their bellies, driving men to desperation. Thirst became a constant torment, parching their throats and clouding their judgment. Disease spread like wildfire in the cramped, unsanitary conditions. Yet, amidst this misery, a spark of defiance flickered. Lester's leadership, though harsh, maintained order. His iron will, coupled with the shared desire for freedom, fueled their resilience. They bailed water, repaired sails, and rationed supplies with grim determination. Each sunrise was a victory, each passing day a testament to their will to survive. But the ocean demanded its due, and the threat of death was ever present. Lost in the immensity of the Pacific, the convicts had only one guide: the stars. Their rudimentary navigation relied heavily on celestial observation. Among them was a man named William Jones, a former sailor with a surprisingly deep understanding of astronomy. Under the inky black canvas of the night sky, Jones, using makeshift instruments, a quadrant fashioned from salvaged wood and a plumb line, taught his shipmates to read the constellations. The Southern Cross became their constant companion, guiding them eastward. Each sighting was a reassurance, a connection to something constant in their chaotic world. Their lives depended on Jones's skill, his ability to decipher the language of the stars, turning them from prisoners of circumstance to navigators of their own destiny. The night sky became their map, and hope their compass. After weeks of unimaginable hardship, a cry rang out from the crow's nest. Land! The word electrified the weary convicts. A distant silhouette on the horizon, the coast of Chile. Disbelief gave way to euphoria. Tears streamed down hardened faces. Their impossible voyage was nearing its end. As the Venus limped towards the shore, battered and bruised, the convicts prepared to step onto solid ground for the first time in what felt like an eternity. The air filled with anticipation, a mixture of hope and trepidation. What awaited them in this strange, new land? Would they be welcomed as men, or condemned as escaped prisoners? As the Venus finally ran aground on a Chilean beach, a new chapter in their extraordinary story began. The convicts' arrival in Chile was met with a mixture of curiosity and suspicion. Local fishermen, stunned by the sight of the dilapidated Venus, cautiously approached the bedraggled men. While Chilean authorities were initially wary, the convicts, led by the articulate Lester, pleaded their case. Men unjustly imprisoned seeking only a chance at a new life. The Chilean government, grappling with its own political complexities, faced a dilemma. Should they offer sanctuary to these escaped prisoners, defying the powerful British Empire, or hand them back to face certain execution? Public opinion was divided, with some sympathizing with the convicts' plight and others fearing diplomatic repercussions. The convicts found themselves in a precarious position, freedom within reach, yet still dangling by a thread. News of the Venus's audacious escape reached London, sending shockwaves through the British government. The thought of convicts successfully fleeing one of the Empire's most notorious penal colonies was an intolerable affront to their authority. The Royal Navy was immediately dispatched to search the Pacific. Simultaneously, diplomatic pressure was brought to bear on Chile. The British ambassador demanded the immediate extradition of the escaped convicts, threatening dire consequences for Chile's burgeoning trade relations with Britain. Faced with this immense pressure, the Chilean government found itself in an unenviable position. The lure of economic stability clashed with the moral implications of returning men to almost certain death. The convicts' fate now hung in the balance, not on the high seas, but in the corridors of power. Ultimately, the Chilean government buckled under British pressure. Some of the convicts were apprehended and returned to British authorities, facing harsh punishments upon their return to Van Diemen's Land. James Lester, the charismatic leader, managed to evade capture, disappearing into the vastness of South America, his ultimate fate remaining a mystery. Other escapees melted into Chilean society, changing their names and starting new lives, forever haunted by their past. Their escape, though partially thwarted, remains a powerful symbol of defiance against oppression. Were they truly free? Perhaps not in the eyes of the law, but their audacious voyage, fueled by desperation and hope, had rewritten their destinies. Their story became a testament to the enduring human spirit, a reminder that even within the darkest of prisons, the yearning for freedom can never be truly extinguished. The waves crash, the sails billow one last time in our mind's eye. The story of the Great Escape is more than just a tale of convicts escaping a penal colony. It's a powerful testament to the enduring human desire for liberty, a primal urge that can drive ordinary people to achieve extraordinary feats. These men, branded as criminals, became navigators, shipwrights, and ultimately architects of their own liberation. Sound of seagulls and fading ship sounds. Their actions, born of desperation, raise profound questions. Were they heroes or simply desperate men? Did the injustice of their confinement justify their defiance of the law? The answer, perhaps, lies in the eye of the beholder. What remains undeniable is the sheer audacity of their undertaking and the remarkable ingenuity they displayed in the face of seemingly insurmountable odds. Sound of slow, thoughtful music. Though their ultimate fate remains shrouded in some mystery, the legacy of the Great Escape endures. It serves as a potent reminder that even in the darkest of times, the human spirit can soar, that the yearning for freedom can ignite a fire that burns brighter than any prison bars, and that, sometimes, the impossible is merely a challenge waiting to be overcome. This is their story. This is the Great Escape.